Hello, and welcome to the exciting game of Beast Brawl, a cryptid-based combat game that is deceptively simple and also quite fast-paced. In order to play the game, you will need to set up by having chosen your particular beast or cryptid. Everything from Bigfoot to Mothman to the Jersey Devil, what have you. You just need to choose one for this particular mode of play. Some way to keep track of how much damage you're dealing to the opponent, as well as a coin to flip for when the occasion might ask for it. Along with your cryptid that you've chosen, you will also need these cards. You'll need a set of 3 cards resembling in 10, 20, and 30, and another 3 of colors, red, green, and blue. These cards especially correspond to the kind of attack that you will be using. These numbers represent how strong that attack will be. There's no printed value on the card, so these represent the power, but they also represent the speed, aka as to which attack hits first. A lower number results in activating first. A higher number results in, well, higher damage. So you may hit me for 30 damage to finish me off, but if I can hit you with this 10 or 20, and it'll hit first and it will knock you out, then I will get to hit first and, well, knock you out. That's how the game should play. These are the counters. Anyways, you can figure out how much damage your creature can take based on their HP, aka hit points. So Bigfoot has 100. Loveland frogman only has 90. Yes. Alright, so the way that you play is that there's no turns. It's more so like rounds of activation. So to start off, I will choose, let's see. If we look at my card here, Bigfoot has these attacks right here, such as Howl, which if I'm able to predict my opponent's move, I'll be able to block out their damage. You see, 3 things can happen during a turn. Either A, when it's asymmetrical, where someone's card is, and we'll clearly let them hit first, and then the opponents will hit second. Or B, the number card values are the same, which results in a clash. Whenever a clash happens, then in power and speed, then it goes on to the type matchup. As you can see, red beats green, green beats blue, and blue beats red. So, and if it results down to this, then whoever wins a type matchup gets a decisive victory over the opponent, allowing you to hit them for full damage. And they don't get to hit back. So, without further ado, let's do a simulated match. All right. So, anyways, if we look at Bigfoot, his attacks are Howl, Stone Throwing, and Tree Knocking. Howl does, if I took no damage this turn, then on my next turn I get to deal an additional 10 damage. So therefore it sets up for the next attacks to possibly hit for more. Stone Throwing allows me to flip a coin, and if it's heads, I get to deal an additional 10 damage. And if it's Tree Knocking, well, if I happen to have used Tree Knocking last turn, I get an automatic 10 into Tree Knocking. Now, let's say I'm Bigfoot, right? So what do I want to do? If I'm looking at Frogman here, he has 90 HP. That shouldn't be too hard of a battle. All I have to do is just hit him really hard, right? So I might think about going for a 30 damage, and since Stone Throwing allows me a possible 10, and right off the bat, I think I'll do that. Now, my opponent could easily look at my card. You see, my opponent is a Loveland frogman. His attacks are Bright Burn, Eerie Light Magic, and a Bullet Dodge. So, there's a lot of text here. I'll explain it. So, for example, Bright Burn says, if I hit first, then I can deal an additional 10 damage. But if my last attack just so happened to be Eerie Light Magic, then I can flip a coin, and if it's heads, I get to reduce damage by incoming damage by 10. Eerie Light Magic allows me to flip 2 coins and reduce incoming damage by 10 for every heads, but if both are tails, I don't do any damage. Bullet Dodge allows me to flip a coin. If heads, I can reduce the amount of damage coming to me, but once again, if I used Eerie Light Magic the previous turn, then I get to flip an additional coin. Alright, so, as a Loveland Frogman, I see my opponent's already made his choice. And if I had to guess what my opponent's trying to do, they might just be trying to hit me with a powerful attack. So, my best choice is to perhaps think about hitting them with a powerful attack of my own. Now, if I look at my opponent's attacks, he has a green, a red, and a blue, just like I do. But I know that a red beats green, and green beats blue, and blue beats red. Now, if I had to guess, my opponent might try to knock me out with a strong hit. So what I want to do is try to counter that strong hit and probably match it with, let's say, I'm pretty sure that they're going to hit with a 30. So I'm going to play this 30 face down. So my opponent does know what I'm going to play. And I think I will make it a red attack because if I can guess, they might be trying to use stone throwing since it happens to be a powerful move. And if I get the clash, then I can move on to winning the matchup. So, on the count of 3, we both flip over our cards. Alright. So, what happens here is that we, as you can see, both are same power level. So, we move on to the type, and the type is red versus green. And so red actually gets to move and actually gets to resolve, and green doesn't. They're canceled. So, I can do Bright Burn, which it says if I hit first, but in this case, since my opponent doesn't move at all, that's still considered moving first, so I get to deal an additional 10 damage to Bigfoot. So my attack's already 30, so it's going for 40 damage now, which is pretty good. But, but also, there's another hidden bonus here, where if a person is attacking and is dealing damage to an opponent, whichever one happens to be like, that type, so red dealing damage to green means that I also get to do an additional 10 damage on top of the additional damage I got with Bright Burn, allowing me to go for rather than 40 damage, I actually get to boost up the damage all the way up to 50. So, not looking good for the Bigfoot player. Now, the Bigfoot player may think, okay, that didn't go as well for me, so they might be thinking I'm going to try to still keep hitting with 30, and they're going to think about doing maybe tree knocking since they can get a dependable hit on their next turn, because every time your last move was tree knocking, it's going to lead up to an additional 10. So while this will only get to 30 this turn, next turn it's setting up so it's hitting with 40. Let's see. Now then, I'm so curious to what my opponent might do. So, as the frogman, I think I might go to use my green attack, my eerie light magic. And though it is risky, I think I'll go with a 20-point attack to try to outspeed them instead of overpower them. Because I don't know exactly what they're going to do. So when we flip, we see that they're doing 30 and I'm doing 20 damage. But we don't clash. But I do, as the frogman, I get to go first over Bigfoot. So what happens is the frogman gets to hit for 20 damage. Okay? But since the frogman, since it is my Brightburn attack, or no, not Brightburn, but my Eerie Light magic, my green attack, I get to flip 2 coins. Result, heads, 1. Result, heads, 2. With 2 heads, that allows me to reduce any incoming damage by the number of heads, which is 20 then. So, anyways, because if those are both tails, then I would do no damage to Bigfoot. But I'm lucky. So, what happens is, I get to do the extra 20 damage, so that's 5, 6, 7. But because of the fact that I am a green attacking a blue, I get to do an additional 10 damage, so from 5, 6, and 5, and from, 50 to 6, 7, into 80 damage, already onto Bigfoot. Now, Bigfoot gets to resolve their attack after mine, so they're hitting for 30, but because I got 2 heads with my Eerie Light magic, I'm able to reduce the damage from 30 all the way down to just 10 damage. Now, the Bigfoot player is probably feeling a little bit of pressure right now, so they're probably going to think, alright, this is enough silliness. I think I'm going to go for maybe trying a stronger attack, a not as strong attack, but I'll think I'll go still with tree knocking because this goes from a 20 to at least a dependable 30. Now, the Frogman player still knows that Bigfoot might come and swing at them, but at the same time, they also know that Bigfoot just happens to be only at only 100 HP. So, I think I'll go to finish this off. I will do a 10-point damaging attack, and I'll make it my red attack. So, once we reveal, it appears the Frogman player has played very well this time because they have chosen to do 10 points of damage, which allows them, once again, to outspeed Bigfoot, as they have been. The Bigfoot player probably should have thought about trying to outspeed Frogman or predict their next move. In this case, the Frogman gets to land with his Brightburn, but since Brightburn has the effect that every time he hits first, he is able to deal an additional 10 damage, that's 20 damage, allowing him to beat Bigfoot. Alright, so that's how you play the game. Try to knock out the opponent, try to outthink and predict their move. Always think, what move do you think your opponent might do, and what move do you think your opponent might think you might do. So it's always at least 2 steps ahead of your opponent. Best way to win is to know, always consider reading your opponent's cards before you start fighting, and then base it off of what they're trying to do. So, anyways, thank you for listening for today's demo, and best wishes and happy Beast Brawl. Best of luck.